Hey, welcome to the channel, guys. Today we're gonna do a little bit of an engine swap. Something you've probably seen before many times. Cummins in a square body. Nothing new, but we're gonna do it in detail because if you're like me, you want to see every little bit of detail before you take on a project like this yourself. Let's run through the plans. These trucks are obviously going to trade engines. Along with that comes transmissions and transfer cases. Everything as far as the driveline is concerned is getting ripped out of the Suburban. Everything as far as the driveline is concerned is getting ripped out of the W250. Now, here's where we're gonna go a step further than most people. I don't think the 10-bolt front axle in this thing is gonna stand up to the Cummins. I don't think the semi-float 14-bolt rear end is gonna stand up to the Cummins. On top of that, as I'm sure you guys might have guessed just from looking at this thing, the tires already kind of rub a little bit in the front. So we gotta lift her up a little bit more. That's gonna be a little bit of cha-ching, a little expensive. So I had the bright idea, why don't we just take the axles out of this thing, pop them in there, same as the driveline. Should, you know, save me having to find a set of Chevy 1-tons, which are, as you know, really expensive. This thing's got the same stuff in it. It's a Dana 60 up front. Yeah, Dana 70 in the back is a little bit different than a 14-bolt in the Chevy, but still heavy-duty 1-ton axles. The other big bonus is that the leaf springs in the front of this thing, they're designed to hold up the weight of that Cummins. They were made for that. That's their job. So hopefully, if my plan goes to plan, we're gonna be able to pull the front axle out of this thing, leave the leaf springs on it, roll it under the front of this truck, and bolt it in. And I know that sounds crazy. There's a bunch of people right now going, no, not gonna work. Well, this is one of the things that we're gonna figure out in this video, on this journey, during this build. We're gonna figure it out. If my research is accurate, we should be able to get away with it with just a couple of half-inch spacers hung in the shackles. The leaf springs should center themselves up because, yeah, the spring perch is a little bit different on each truck, width-wise on the axle, but we'll try to figure this one out. I'll let you guys know the details as we go. So if you want to do something like this, you can use this video as reference too. I'm sure a lot of people are actually gonna ask themselves, why bother? This truck runs and drives. This truck runs and drives too. I drove this one home from Quebec. I'm in Ontario, probably about a 7-hour drive. It really proved itself, so that was cool. Why bother taking two perfectly good running, driving trucks, rip them apart, and just mix and match a bunch of pieces? It sounds like a lot of work, and it is. It sounds like a dirty job, and it is, because, you know, the old trucks, they're greasy. So a lot of people are wondering why do this. Let me give you my reasoning. This poor 350 small block Chevy that's in this truck is barely pulling the truck itself. This truck has an automatic. Automatics are good, they're fine, but I tend to blow them up. I don't know if that's just a me problem. I'm sure you guys have run into that too. Especially if you're gonna be hard on them, you know, like doesn't like to tow, transmission gets hot. Off-road, they're actually pretty nice because you don't have to work another pedal, but you know, it's just not as fun. You don't feel as beastly when you're rowing through the gears. So automatic's got to go. It's got an aluminum transfer case with the chain in it. It's not a bad transfer case. I believe it's a 241, NP 241, I think. But yeah, I just see aluminum. I get worried. You know, cracked cases and all that stuff. And it's a chain stretch. I don't want to mess with that. Yeah, 10 bolt in the front. Chevy 10 bolt. Not the best front axle in the world. They're 8-lug axles, so they're heavy, but I don't think they're heavy enough. So we got a 14 bolt in the back, which is nice, but it's a semi-float. Kind of a bummer. If you want maximum durability, you want big, beefy parts. We'll find out if we can pull it off. So like I was explaining, the GMC just kind of lacks some oomph. This poor 350, she is getting tired. Like, doesn't want to drag this truck up a hill anymore. It will, but it will complain. I'll tell you that much. Column shift automatic. Nah, not my favorite. Again, not complaining, it's column, that's cool, old school, 3 on the tree. But the issue is that it's just an automatic. And again, like, you guys might be like me, I tend to blow those things up. This is for a good old-fashioned NP 241. At least that's what I believe it is. I'm not really a Chevy expert, but that's what we're looking at. I see aluminum and I see a chain-driven transfer case. Chain stretch, aluminum cases crack. Things that I don't want to deal with. You know, yeah, there's tons of them around. That's great. Parts are cheap, but it just doesn't cut the mustard.
You know what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna dive into this big girl over here. Yep, I called her a big girl. Let's hope she's not offended. My God, look at that. Magnificent, right? 5-speed stick shift, NP 205 transfer case. That's a cast iron, gear-driven big boy. And of course, you guys know how legendary the 12-valve Cummins is. Turn some screws, make some horsepower, make some torque. It's that simple. It's gonna be awesome. So all that said, let's walk through some similarities and some differences. We got 354 gears over here. I believe we got 410s in this guy. I think with the 5-speed, the 354 gears, and these beautiful meaty super lugs, by the way, those tires are awesome. I think we should be hitting some nice cruising speeds on the highway. The old Getrag or Getrag 5-speed in this Cummins truck here, it's got a pretty deep first gear, so I think we should still be able to do some nice wheeling in this guy. I want this to be like a camping, overland, fun weekend rig. So yep, four-wheeling is definitely going to be an important thing to take into consideration during this build. The Suburban is actually far more complex in terms of wiring when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it. Believe it or not, this guy has a computer. Yeah, you heard me right. It has Satan's magic going on inside of it. And I don't like that. I'm not into the wizardry of the electronics, so we're gonna get rid of all that stuff and do the one-wire 12-valve. Wiring in this truck, as you guys probably know, first gens, the wiring is so bad you don't even want to think about it. So we're not gonna worry about switching over a wiring harness. All right, let's talk about Workspace. You guys are gonna love this. Our budget is through the roof here. Like, it's insane. You guys are not going to believe the shop we're working in. I'll take you for a tour. Yeah, that's about it. Looks great, huh? As you guys might have been able to figure out at this point, we're going to try to do this swap as cheaply as possible. That's why we're reusing all the parts from the Cummins truck out there. I'm talking leaf springs, I'm talking both axles. That's stuff that people normally don't do. Normally people, they're looking to just do an engine swap. And yeah, transmission, or transfer case, I can go along with it, but I'm talking everything. Like down to the pedals. Suburban's an automatic. I don't have a clutch pedal. I got a total complete donor truck though, running and driving. So what am I gonna do? Scavenge it. Everything I can use from it, I'm gonna use, because why wouldn't I? That's the advantage to buying a complete truck. And that's actually, that's my advice to you guys. If you guys are gonna do a swap like this, buy a complete truck. Don't waste your time piecing together this and that, because it's number one, it's gonna take you forever. Number two, it's gonna be way more expensive. And number three, you're probably gonna run into a situation halfway through your swap when you realize you need something else. Be smart. Buy a complete donor truck. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money. Just do it right. Grab your smorgasbord and take advantage of it. I'm sure a lot of you guys know this already too, but if you're gonna get a donor truck, get a first gen Cummins. Makes it a lot easier for a few reasons. But the big one, obviously, if you're doing a Chevy swap at least, it's gonna be the transfer case. These guys, they run a passenger side drop. These guys, they run a passenger side drop, so like butter. If you're gonna grab a second gen Dodge Cummins truck, the more modern looking ones, you're gonna be looking at a driver's side drop. So if you're gonna do the swap, what I recommend, grab a complete first gen. Don't grab a nice one either, because if you're gonna tear a truck apart, make sure it's not the best. Make sure you're giving life to another truck, not ending a life of a truck. So grab a first gen, it's the way to go. It makes it so much easier. So let's get into it.